Howdy, folks. So in today's video, we are going to talk to Roz Fisher. She is from Resumes, etc., and she's been helping people all around the globe with their resumes, mainly South African expats with their resumes for about 15 years, right, Roz?
16 years, yeah. We just celebrated our 16th birthday.
Whoa, 16 years of writing resumes. Okay, well, let's just take a step back. So you are also an ex-South African. I must say you have lost the accent a little bit, eh?
Oh, come on, I haven't lost the accent. I was originally a Durban girl.
Okay, yeah. Well, I can now hear that. You're right. Okay.
So I was from Natal, and then I moved to the Free State.
Yeah.
I did my matric in Vicksburg High School.
Wow.
And then I studied journalism at Pretoria Technikon.
Okay.
And then I moved to Namibia, and I was in broadcast journalism for a bit. And then I hope you wanted all my whole life
Go
story.
for it. It's always interesting.
While I was in Namibia during the year of UNTAG and independence.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so exciting. And I met an Australian soldier. And I was a war bride, as my son likes to say. He tells people his mother was a war bride.
Okay, wow. So, and then you moved to Australia.
Yes, and I was in Australia for 20 years. And then I started writing CVs kind of by accident. And 16 years later, here we are.
Okay, and where do you live at the moment?
I live in Cambodia.
Cambodia?
It's nearly the same as Canada if you just take the first two letters. Yeah. I had to make a decision about 10 years ago because my business went, at the time I was living in a mining town, and my business was very localized, just writing resumes for people wanting to work on the mine. And then Facebook exploded, and I went international, and it was pretty amazing. And so time zones were becoming quite an issue. I was having to be up at all sorts of hours to deal with customers, and because how I write a resume is very interactive, and I'll send an email, get an email back, send an email back. So I had to be up when the clients were up. Otherwise, it would take 2 weeks, to send a few emails. And so I did some research and looked at where it's easy for expats to live, and I landed in Cambodia, and I've been here for 10 years.
Okay.
And I have a lovely little apartment in Phnom Penh with 5 cats.
Nice.
And it really, really works because it's now 7 a.m. for me, and it's still early enough in Canada for you to respond to emails, or I'll start work much later, and then I can work in the evenings and deal with my Canadian clients who are having breakfast.
Okay, yeah, look, I get the time zones. We publish these coffee table books, the Innovate series, all around the globe, and it drives me nuts. I mean, some of the zones, it's just crazy. Like when we did Innovate Adelaide in Australia also. It's just
exactly. I know
I
what I'm
mean,
talking about.
the time zone is like exactly the opposite. So it's almost impossible to speak to somebody during any work hours.
But with an additional half hour, because it's South Australia and it has to have its own time zone.
Yeah.
I lived in Adelaide. It's a beautiful city, but the time zones drive me nuts too.
Crazy. And life in Cambodia, I mean, is it, how is it? Is it great? What time zone are you on?
50 cents.
Oh, yeah, well, that's nice and cheap, right?
So, I don't drink beer, though. I'm gluten intolerant. So I can't drink beer. But as a single woman, I think it's an easy life. It's there's a lot of assistance from people to do your everyday things.
Okay, nice. And it's obviously nice and affordable. And is it safe? And
Very safe. Very, very safe.
Okay.
Yeah. I've lived here for 10 years and I've witnessed a crime. I've witnessed somebody having their bag taken, but touch wood, never happened to me.
Oh, wow.
And then if there is crime, it's small thing. It's not like somebody breaking into your home and doing despicable things. You know, it's like grab and run.
That type of thing, yeah.
Stuff, really.
And English, you get along fine with it everywhere. You're not having language issues, or are you starting to learn? What language do they speak in Cambodia?
Khmer.
Khmer. Okay.
Khmer.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
All right, well, I find that very interesting, but let's talk about the stuff that I think most people would really want to know about. So, just a little bit of history still. So how did you go from journalism into CV writing?
Well, it was quite weird. When I started working in Mount Isa, there wasn't actually a position for me at the newspaper. So I did some volunteering, and then they had me doing some special publications, writing advertorials, etc., etc. But they didn't have enough work for me full time. So they said, look, go and do something else for a few months, build up your portfolio with us, and then we'll start doing news stories. So I started working at an employment agency, a government employment agency, like a dole office.
Yeah.
They call it Centrelink in Australia. And then I went from there and I moved to another employment agency. And I was putting long-term unemployed people into jobs. So I was having to work with very difficult resumes. And then I was submitting these to employers. And are we allowed to swear on here?
You are allowed to.
They would look at it, because you know what I'm going to say. They would look at it and go, but what's this rubbish? What is this nonsense you're giving me?
Yeah.
I don't need to know this. I don't need to know that. I need to know what they can do for me.
Yeah.
What can they do for me? And I said, right. And I went and I started rewriting these resumes, or as they call them, CVs in Australia. And I started rewriting them. And my clients started getting interviews. Whether or not they got jobs was up to them, because once that CV opens the door and they are seated behind the desk, my work is done.
Yeah.
I can't attend the interview for them. But my goal is to get you through the door to that interview. And sometimes for clients, that's a very easy transition and they catch the vision and the goal. And other times it's quite excruciating because change is very difficult. And when you're used to having a 12-page resume that outlines all of your achievements since kindergarten, I'm not even joking.
Wow.
I have some people, they will put their primary school class captain, team leader in grade 6, high school valedictorian.
Yeah, and the only thing that shows to the employer is that they're not very good at communicating, right? Because you know, that's all irrelevant information, really, right?
And they can't declutter. And so the employer looks at this 12-page CV or resume and thinks about, what's this guy's report's going to look like? How many pages of waffle are we going to have to go through to get to the gist? And then I come along and I call myself the CV declutterer or the resume declutterer. And I'm like one of those TV shows where they go in and they open the cupboards and they rip everything out. And we say, okay, is your high school swimming championship achievement really relevant after you've been working in IT for 30 years?
Yeah.
Are you going for a job as a swimmer? No, okay. And that is basically my strategy. The first thing, a client goes on my website, they purchase their package, and then they'll receive a questionnaire. And the first question is, what sort of jobs are you looking for?
Yeah.
So you are looking for a job as a project manager in construction. So your history from 30 years ago, when you were a sales guy at a TV rental company, is not really relevant. So we can cut that job off your CV and we can forget that you ever did it, because you never want to do it again. That telemarketing job you had in high school where you were raising money for deaf children, I did that job. So that's why I can talk about it. You never want to do that job again. So remove it from your CV.
Of course.
And so we declutter all the skills that are not relevant, all the projects you did, all the volunteering you did, all your hobbies, not relevant, not relevant. And the employer then gets a 2-page resume and they go, this is the business. This I can see. There's your skills, there's your qualifications. Do, no waffle, no nonsense. That's it.
Yeah, and sorry to interrupt. I just want to add to that. I've also heard that lots of people say here in Canada, and I kind of experienced it myself, is that they do not, in South Africa, we value a jack of all trades. If you employ somebody in South Africa, if he's had some sales experience and some IT experience, it's valuable. But here they don't.
I know where that comes from.
Yeah.
That comes from sanctions times, when we couldn't get so much stuff and we just had a boer maak 'n plan. We just had to make a plan. And so it was very helpful then to have somebody who could do everything. But now it seems that they really want you, it revolves around keywords.
Yeah. Look, so, I mean, there's
so that's, I try and make it as broad as possible. But if somebody is in a very specific field, doing a very specific job, then that's what needs to be sung about.
Yeah, because it's like, I definitely see it here in Canada. We've got, there would be one guy coming in that puts the polyfiller on the cracks on the wall, and then another guy coming in to do the painting. In South Africa, the one guy's going to do both jobs.
Really?
So they actually...
You'd be a painter plasterer.
Yeah. Over here, there's a lot of, like, if you go too wide, people are scared. They really want niche down. So you need to actually cut down your CV. I remember when my wife was looking for a job, Belinda. Now, she's been an entrepreneur all her life, and she eventually started getting interviews when she removed the entrepreneur stuff from her CV, because people would go, nope, I don't want to employ an entrepreneur that thinks for themselves. I want somebody that's just...
Thank you. Thank you for confirming what I have been saying to people for years. I've got a YouTube channel, and during COVID, I started doing video clips, really just to keep some of my friends employed who were very unemployed during COVID. So we started this little YouTube channel, and it was so fun. And one of the videos was business management, a business ownership should not be mentioned on a CV, because the first thing they will think of when they see business ownership is, how long is it going to take him to steal all my customers and open up on his own?
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one.
I never call somebody an owner. I call them a manager, because, and I have a lot of clients who have been business owners their whole life. They inherited a family business, and that's all they've been doing. But they need to change their mindset and start to think like an employee and not like the boss, because most businesses, when you look at the job adverts, They are not advertising for a business boss.
Yeah.
They're not advertising, hey, we need a new owner. Please send your CVs. They've already got an owner. They want somebody who's going to be able to follow directions and not think too much for themselves. You're right. And so my job is to make these people seem very employable. And we call the manager, and then there's my client say, oh, but what if it comes up? Then I say, very simple. All you do is say, hey, look, I do own the business, but I am very much part of the team. I'm very hands-on. And so I refer to myself as manager because I don't want to put myself too far above my team.
Nice one. Nice one. All right. So, how different is...
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No, don't worry about it. That's brilliant. So, differences between CVs in Canada or resumes in Canada and CVs in South Africa?
I am a South African, so I can say this. We are very proud of our achievements. All of our achievements. I tell people, humility is my best quality. Just ask me about it and I'll tell you how humble I am. And that's South Africans. And so we should be, because, you know, we went through a lot, all of us. We went through a lot and we came through. But at some point, what you did in high school, what you did in university, what you did doesn't matter anymore to employers in Canada. Where you went to high school means nothing. I don't even include high school on a CV unless it's the person's first or second job.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting.
So what I do is I declutter, and this goes for CVs, resumes around the world. It's the same principles. And people talk about a Canadian CV or an Australian CV, but that's actually a myth that was started by one of the professional CV writers. I know her name. I'm not going to say it. But she started this myth that you need one CV for every country that you apply in, because she was getting more business and she was very angry with me. When I came out and said, that's right. You only need one CV. Unless you're applying in America, and then I will do the second version for you for free. So I always do the first version with British Commonwealth
English,
spelling, which is realized with an S instead of a Z. And then if they're applying in America, then I will produce the American version with the different spelling. It's not incorrect, it's just different. And then they can decide, okay, we want the LinkedIn to be American or we want the LinkedIn to be international.
Yeah.
And, the main difference is it's cut down in number of pages, 2 to 3 pages, perfect. Any more than that, it's getting a bit tiresome to read.
Yeah, and then of course another thing I heard, and you can maybe confirm or deny, is that with these ATS or the automatic applicant tracking systems and things like that, if you have too much information in there, it automatically starts kicking you out. You need to make sure you have the correct keywords in for the job that you're applying for, because if you don't, a human doesn't, I mean, let's face it, a human doesn't look at the CVs anymore, the first one around, unless you apply at some small company.
That's right. So, and the problem is I'm actually doing a series on this at the moment. I'm putting up a video today on my YouTube and my blog, etc., talking about how AI is not your friend, because AI is giving you the exact opposite of what's required from the ATS. So the applicant tracking system wants a black and white Word document with no color, no borders, no tables, no images. Your photo goes on LinkedIn, not on your resume. No active links, no decorative fonts, nothing like that. It must just be plain, simple, easy to read with keywords that match the job description.
Okay, so the days of creating these beautiful CVs with little flowers and photos and stuff.
Your CV is not, I'll tell you what it is not. Your resume is not a magazine layout. It is not a scrapbook layout. It is not an annual report. It is something completely different. And that is why I have been specializing in resumes for 16 years. I don't do anything else. People say, oh, I need to write this thing for the... I say, it's not a CV. I can write other things because I'm a qualified and trained and experienced journalist. But I choose to specialize in this because it is such a niche thing. Mm-hmm. And the difference for my clients is unbelievable. Some of them, and this is the tenacity of people, they keep applying for 200, 300, 400 jobs with the same resume without getting a result. How strong and how tough does somebody have to be to keep going day? Oh, I get so emotional. To keep going day after day after day after week after week after month, applying with the same awful resume.
Wow.
And then they start to feel unemployable. Nobody wants me. I'm obviously useless. And then I take that document and I rewrite it. And then suddenly they're being noticed. And then I get feedback saying, I've got 3 jobs to choose from. I don't know what to do. I go, whoa. That's above I can only make decisions.
Okay, so just to take a nice quick step back in the job hunting process. Look, I've always been an entrepreneur. I've never applied for a job in my life, to be honest. No, I guess when in my early 20s I did.
Is that because nobody will employ you?
Yeah, it's because I'm unemployable, to be honest, I guess. But anyway, so I've always just been like, oh my gosh, working for somebody, there's so many rules, and I must rather just work for myself. It's better. Anyway, so when you apply for a job, there's a couple of different elements these days that are in play, right? You have your resume, which is the first thing that you're going to send through. Your resume needs to be very simple, straightforward, decluttered, no fancy writing, no fancy fonts, no fancy nothing, because of the ATS system. Everybody's resume goes through an ATS system, and that is the automated system that checks all the resumes and selects the ones that are basically using AI or
meet the keywords.
Yeah, that meet the keywords, and it goes, okay, boom, these ones you need to look at, and those go through to a human.
I'll just say something. If, for example, a CV is covered in tables and they've got all the information in tables, it's not even being read because their computer's seeing it as a blank document.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not that it's not hitting the keywords, it's not being read.
Wow. Because it's not actually seeing it. The AI,
because it's not actually
the ATS system is not as smart as ChatGPT yet, so it can't actually read and interpret.
Don't even talk to me about ChatGPT. The nonsense that I see in resume, and I just want to cry. And now there's some professionals who are taking people's money and using ChatGPT to write the CV, and that infuriates me.
I can imagine.
That's really, because I get these devastated people who come to me and say, I paid so much money for this, please can you check it? And I look at it and I just go, this is never going to work.
Yeah, interesting.
Unless you're advertising in some tiny little town at mom and pop stores you know, where you do still have Auntie Joan who's still reading through the resumes, and she will probably love the flowery border and the pink paper with the perfume spray.
Of course.
She'll
So,
think it's lovely, but Mr. ATS doesn't think it's so great.
okay, so now the other thing that goes with CVs is obviously a the letter, what do you call it?
Cover letter.
Cover letter. So is a cover letter worth it? And how do you tailor make every cover letter to the company that you're applying to?
Yes. So I include a cover letter in every package, and I also throw in a resignation letter as well for people who need to leave their job. And that, some people say to me, wow, that's made it really real. Now I'm going to have to resign. You know, this is really real. And so the cover letter, many employers request it. And basically what it is, it's an invitation to read your resume. And it's to show them that you can string 2 sentences together. And that is where you take some of the keywords. So what I give is a template that is very, very easily adjusted to different positions. But if somebody is going for a specific position, I will write a specific letter for them. It's no big deal. It's 1 page, and it is so simple, and it's not a rehash of your whole resume. It is literally just 5 paragraphs. That's it.
Okay.
And so I provide that, and then clients, sometimes, like if they're applying on LinkedIn or Indeed, they won't need a cover letter. It just depends how they're applying. So I provide it. If they use it, they use it. If they don't,
okay. So a random question:
LinkedIn is critical.
Does the ATS actually also go through the cover letter, or is that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Interesting. I wonder.
Think so. I don't think so.
So your CV needs to be. So when you're applying for a job at a big company that advertises, your CV goes, or your resume goes in, ATS checks through it, then goes, okay, this one makes the grade, moves it on to a human, the human or the HR person then gets it with the cover letter where they can then...
I don't know how it works. I'm only a resume writer. I've never been in recruitment.
I wonder.
So I don't know the actual process. I just know that some employers request it and I provide it.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what's more important is the LinkedIn portion of the package. Because once we've written the resume, then we take that and we put that into LinkedIn with a nice background photo, the headline, the summary, everything matching the resume so that there's no confusion, nothing contradictory, and a lot of clients get jobs through LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's actually true, especially here in North America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but it seems like in Canada, LinkedIn is a huge player in the finding jobs.
And then, so my standard package is the resume, the cover letter, LinkedIn, and Indeed. And Indeed is an online job search profile, a job search platform. And so we will write the profile, to match your CV, resume, and then everything for your job search is matching, consistent, and hopefully hits the target.
Yeah.
But if a client applies for a couple of jobs and nothing is happening, then I say to them, okay, send me the details of those jobs. And let's make sure that we are ticking all the boxes. I can't do anything about visas. If you don't have the right visa or if you don't have the right... I can't do anything about that. A CV is not a magic ticket.
Of course.
But I can make sure that it's hitting all of the keywords, etc.
Okay.
So, and obviously, I wouldn't charge anything for that, you know. Some clients just have instant success and some it's a little bit of a process. Oh, my cat's going crazy.
No worries. Okay, so interesting. So you say LinkedIn is a very important factor.
Very.
Just while we're on the subject of LinkedIn, well, we were doing some marketing a while ago, and back to the clutter, you know, because my LinkedIn used to have all of my jobs, like, you know, from the time that LinkedIn started when I put it all in. Actually,
Right.
no, when I did the application for my first work permit as an owner operator in Canada, I had to go and put a whole bunch of old LinkedIn stuff in, or old jobs into LinkedIn, because it showed that I am a publisher and that I can come and do it over here. And then when we did the marketing, my marketing guy said, hey, you got to remove all of this old stuff from your LinkedIn because it just clutters your LinkedIn profile. So do you do the same thing when you say people that list all their jobs?
Well, if it's not on your CV, it's not going on your LinkedIn.
Okay, so you're not
So
like your first job at the bank and all of that crap.
No,
Just
nothing past 2000.
huh?
25 years of work history is more than enough. And after that, they're going to go, how old is this person? Because we don't put a date of birth on a CV.
Oh, really?
No.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I also heard that they said that over here, one of the things they said, okay, you got to leave. You're not allowed to put your photo on the CV because, you know,
They're not allowed to employ you based on looks.
Yeah, but then all they do is they just go to LinkedIn and go look at you over there.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, when those LinkedIn photos, I mean, sure, I see some people with a LinkedIn photo and it was when they were 15 years old and in the prime of their life.
I've actually just recorded a video. I've started doing little videos, sort of maybe once a week, once a fortnight, putting something up on different topics.
Yeah.
Just short things, you know. And that is something that I just recorded, is a LinkedIn photo topic. But if there's anything else that you think of that you'd like me to address, by all means email me and I'll do a quick
Yeah,
video.
we'll put a link to
Do we need to do your CV and LinkedIn?
Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm not looking for a job.
Are you sure? You're happy with your current boss?
I'm happy with my current boss.
He's treating you okay?
I work for only one person, and that's my wife. So
she'll kill me if you get another job.
So anyway, we'll definitely put your YouTube channel and we'll put the links to all Roz's stuff in the bottom of the video, so in the description, great. So you can go find her and have a look at what she's talking about. So
if anybody contacts me and they mention that they saw me on this little video, we will throw in an additional job search package for them, whether it's Seek or Green Door or Job Bank or whatever it is, wherever they are, what's relevant to their location. I'll throw that in for them as well.
Oh, awesome.
Just as a special thank you for watching.
Thank you very much, man. Okay, so any underrated strategies for standing out? You know, because it's like, I know you only write CVs, but I also sometimes, you know, I've read these articles about people that, how do you stand out if you're not allowed to really bring anything into your resume? Is that where you come in?
It's the simplicity and the ease of reading and there's everything I need. Okay, so I'll ask you. Your kitchen is a mess and there's pots and pans everywhere. There's crap. Nothing's dirty, but it's just untidy. Nothing's in the cupboards. Nothing's sorted. Is that an enjoyable space to walk into, or do you prefer to open the cupboards? Everything's neat, everything's tidy. You see what you need. It's all labeled. You know exactly what you're looking at, and you know what you've got to work with. Isn't that better?
No, it is. I mean, I get it.
So that's what I do.
I get it. The question is, if there's like 10 people that's got their CVs as clear as that, how do you then stand out? That's
I doubt that 10 of my clients will be applying for the same job.
okay. And you think most other people just don't miss the boat? They just most people still just do the stupid old CV with all of the clutter and all of the crap.
I've seen all the templates. I've seen all of the templates.
Yeah.
If you Google free CV template, the top 10 is what you see the most, and they're all hideous. They are hideous.
Amazing.
Colored font, boxes, borders, flowers, background images, from the desk of with this personal logo. It's just pretentious is a word. I remove any hint of pretentiousness or arrogance and I just present. And I'll tell you, you want to know. The key to my success is my journalism background. Because I know how to get to the gist of something, cut through the waffle. And the other thing is I know how to ask the right questions to get the information I need.
True. It's interesting, I like behavioral psychology and how the mind works and stuff like that. And one of the things that they said, touching on to what you just said, one of the things that's actually a very well-known secret is that people don't actually know why they do things or what they want. They do something based on emotion, or they make decisions based on emotion. And when you ask them, they rationalize it with their logical mind, and they go, that is the reason I'm doing that. But that wasn't the reason they made the decision. The reason they made the decision is below. And in advertising, what they say is, you can never go and ask a person, why did you buy this product? Because you're not going to get the right answer. You're going to get their rationalized answer, the thing that the
answer is because I felt like I wanted to.
Yeah, and I think a similar thing works with the CV. So you need to understand the person. Yeah. That's very interesting.
You made me think of something, and now I've forgotten it again. That's okay. Exactly. If you consider your resume, that's what I was going to say. Sorry. On my YouTube channel, I've got several videos where I actually blind critique resumes, because I do free appraisals. So people will send me their existing CV, and I'll send them an email outlining it, at least 10 points, why it's not going to pass the ATS, why it's unsuitable, why it's awful, why sometimes it's just a facial expression. And so you can go and have a look at me going through that process, but actually talking it out. And that's, some of them are quite amusing. The guy that was editing the videos is hilarious. So
brilliant.
Some of them are quite amusing.
All right, Roz. Well, I think it's already 40 minutes. It's already 40 minutes in. I think we should end it off. It was amazing. It went really quickly, I must be honest, because it's a really interesting topic. Thank you for coming on the channel, and thank you for everything.
Thank you for having me.